Welcome to the Allyz Community Podcast. This is Juan Rodriguez, your host from Orlando, Florida. It's for me. This is an amazing day today, August 2nd of 2023, where we're launching this amazing podcast. It's all about empowering and informing the consumer uh, in the whole nation. We're gonna here in Orlando. We've been serving the Orlando community for over 22 years, and people walk through my door and they said, you're my ally on my side. Thanks to you, I was able to get what it was righteously owed. Thanks to you, my car got repaired correctly. Thanks to your advice, I was able to do and find the right mechanic, find the right person. And after many years, I was like, you know something? I have become a connector with people. And amazingly, when you provide a good product and a good service, other people align and you attract them. So the reason why the Allyz Community Podcast was born, first of all, after being a collision shop owner, I see the injustice of things that happen to misinformed and uneducated consumers. And after all the years of being a pro-consumer, pro-fairness shop, we've been definitely paying the price of being prosecuted and being put in a list that we are not aligning with most businesses that are in our industry. And today we're going to talk about why we operate the way we operate and why we decided to be a pro-consumer, pro-fairness business that serves our Orlando community, and how through our journey or throughout all these years, when the student is ready, the mentor appears. That's been always my motto. And I learned from different people throughout my journey how to elevate my business at a higher level. And I remember I started this business back in 98, and I started with $500 and a dream. That's how I started. And it's hard to not get emotional because the industry has been great to me. And today I have an amazing person that is going to be with me. He's my personal coach, mentor, and business coach. A well-known. He's a published author. He has many books, and it's just a pleasure to have him to be the first one of many of this Allyz Community Podcast. And it's a pleasure to have my coach, friend, and mentor, Patrice Tsague. Welcome, Patrice.
Juan, thank you. Congratulations, man. This is it, brother. This is it.
We did it. We did it. We've been talking about doing this, and finally, our first podcast. We don't have it all figured out. We don't have it all polished. But what's important here is the content and the heart that we're doing it.
There it is. There it is. I
I
agree with you.
always said serving our community, serving our employees for the right reasons, for the right people. And that's all we want to do.
I love it. Let's do it. Glad to be part of this journey with you. Congratulations.
Yes. Are you ready for what we
I
got
am.
going on?
I am.
All right. So, Patrice, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know not. I want people to know the type of impact that you have on the community, how many actual businesses and people you have coached throughout the years, and why it and why you're so passionate about what you do, because I know you're all about transforming and building people.
Yes. Thank you, Juan. So I'm a Christian coach, what I call a kingdom business coach. So I work with businesses that are faith aligned and that are committed to not only building companies that thrive and profitable, but companies that align with their values. And I've done that for over 20 years. Started in Washington, D.C., now based out of Washington, Vancouver. And we work in Asia and Africa and Europe and Latin America. Any day I could be coaching entrepreneurs and businesses anywhere in the world. I mean, today I was working with a young lady from Alaska, right, who's been part of our community since 2020. So my typical day is either I'm working with my staff to make sure that we have the process system that we move towards the strategy. I'm working with my coaches to kind of give them best practice, help them to support clients, writing a devotional or a book or a curriculum, or working with clients like yourself, where I get a chance. And that's what I love most. What I love most to do is not really the operational side of the business, to be honest with you. I have to do it because we have to stay alive. I have to raise money. I have to sell. I have to market. I have to manage. I have to meet with boards. I have to all that, like any other business. But what I love most is coming alongside entrepreneurs like you, Juan, and dreaming with them. Time, a gal said to me, Patrice, you do more than coaching. It's like boxing with you. And that's how I feel, because it's about me coming to somebody's world and then giving me the privilege to co-create with them, right? And right now I'm co-creating with you, with doctors, with insurance companies, and I become part of their organization, part of the team. And it's just a wonderful thing because you have all these organizations around the country and around the world that thrive, go through challenges and blessings as this in their journey to make a difference in the world.
It's amazing how you start the business with a you're passionate about something, and then you're like, oh, you know something, I have some skills that I can put into work, and you're so passionate, you're doing it for free for friends and people.
That's right.
I can actually make a living, and when people ask me, you know something, I want to start a business, the first thing I tell them, what are you passionate about?
That's right.
What would you do that even if you do it for free, you still enjoy it? Figure that one out, and hopefully you can put a business around that and make a living. But it's amazing how many businesses start just, I want to make money, I want to become a wealthy, rich person, have all the toys, and the business starts in the wrong way. And it's sad because the secret of having a prosperous, thriving business is solving problems, solving issues. And if you don't want to be part of solving problems and solving issues for others, it's going to be hard to make a living. And a lot of people start with the wrong mindset on how to start that business. And it's amazing how many. That's why over 97% of businesses fail in the first 5 years, and it's the reason because it started wrong, and you got to be passionate, and especially when you're called, it's a different story. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're going to talk about calling later. But Patrice, when we met, it was an amazing, and we're going to do just a one podcast talking about how I discover Nehemiah Project. And that's a whole separate podcast because that's going to take at least 20 minutes or probably an hour to show how that happened, because it was amazing. After being taken advantage by a consulting company, I ended up still taking another chance and discovered this amazing community of Nehemiah Project. And Patrice, can you share with us what other businesses have you helped that serve the community and how they're transforming the community? I know one of them that is amazing is Burgerville, and there's a book too that you can, if you want to tell us about a little bit about the book, how this amazing entrepreneur has had the vision and how you were able to help them impact that community, because that's what we're trying to do. With Allyz Auto, we're breaking the mold, and a lot of people said, Juan, you're crazy, this is not gonna happen. And man, they've been saying it for over 16 years, and I'm still proving people wrong. We have an amazing shop. I believe we are in the top 3%ers of this industry. And the best thing is, Patrice, I could look at my customers at the grocery store, at the event, and not hide because I didn't cheat and deceive them. And
Amen.
that's what majority of the people are doing in our industry. But we'll have a whole other podcast for that too. This is for the for the consumers to get to know why we're doing this and why we want you to come back and get this content and share it with with your community, with your people, because there's going to be great content that is going to save a lot of headaches, a lot of money, thousands of dollars, and it's just good thing to spread the seed of the knowledge that we have. So Patrice, share with us who have you helped through all these years. Give me a couple of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. So let me go a little bit back. One of my favorite stories is a doctor. You know her. She's in Couples in Business, Dr. Rashida Cohen, my
Yes.
husband. She's a chiropractor. She came to us when she was in her early 20s, wasn't married, had just come out of college. She actually came to us because she wanted help with her mentor. Her mentor had a chiropractic, and her mentor was had a hard time running the business. And so she came to us and wanted us to help her mentor. I said, have your mentor sent you? She said, no. I said, well, I'm not sure if she would invite my advice if she does is not looking for it. I said, does she trust you? She said, yeah. I said, well, why don't you come to my training, take my classes, and then you can go help her. Which she did. But a couple of weeks or months after the class started, she came to me one day after class. I remember it was yesterday. She called me Brother Tsague. She came after class. She said, Brother Tsague, my mentor want to sell the practice and I want to buy it. I said, you want to buy it? She said, yeah. I said, do you have any money? She said, no. I said, how are you going to buy it? She said, well, can you help me? She put her coaching fee on her credit card.
Wow.
I remember it was like $3,000, something like that. And the rest is history. Now, she didn't buy the practice because we recommend against it, because after the evaluation, we thought it was rich, and she was unwilling to give us certain information. But we had structured a deal with her where she could start building her own clientele while we're negotiating the deal. And the negotiation took like almost 6 to 12. I mean, it took a long time, almost 6 months. But so when we recommend that she doesn't buy the practice because we felt she's not giving us all the information. We don't have all the true value. So when we said to her, she said, what am I going to do now? We said, well, you can already have a business. She said, what do you mean? Well, you have clients, you own those clients. So we literally moved her to the other side of the block. And there she goes. Within 5 years, she was doing $1 million a year.
And I know her customers love her. She's serving her
Yes.
community. A big shout out
Yes.
to Rashida. She's
Yes.
part of our
So
couples in business, and we love having her there.
yes. So she was at discovery because, as you know, Juan, we have these stages. She was discovery. I mean, the
Actually,
stage where,
can you share a little bit about that? Because I know the
yeah,
consumer will love to hear the different stages of a business. That way, they can pinpoint, because sometimes when you especially when you deal with a vehicle, at least in my world, sometimes you're dealing with 40, 50, $100,000 worth of a property. When you have a house that you need to hire a roofer, it could be hundreds of thousands. Or like in my personal opinion, in my personal experience, I went through the experience of beating cancer, and that's going to be probably another podcast that we'll talk about it.
wow.
Those decisions of those experts that you pick is important and crucial, and you cannot just make it out of a recommendation of somebody who doesn't have the best interest in your behalf. So that's why Allyz Community Podcast is, so you are empowered and you are informed to make informed decisions that benefit you. And hopefully, along the way, you find a business that aligns with those values, and that business is able to get your business, and that business will be able to prosper and service their community. Because let's face it, Patrice, how many businesses right now are not doing the right thing, and they're just
That's right.
literally ripping people off and not doing the right things for the right reasons.
No, well said. I mean, the stage you started discovery where Rashida was, and all the way to succession. So first, a business. Somebody's right now, wherever you are, you're thinking maybe business is for me. You're thinking about maybe you have an idea, but you're not launched yet. That's discovery. And then startup is when you actually have you're in active revenue, but you're not yet profitable. That's what we consider startup. And there are many stories I can give you about startup. People we've helped there. It's a fun stage, but it's also a scary stage, right? Most businesses die at startup.
Mhm.
Actually, statistics show 80% of them. And then break even is when we consider to have gone through beyond proof of concept, right? Break even, and we try to tell people be careful about uh, accrued break even versus cash flow. An example, as you know, I recently launched another company called ILM Oregon, and we're beyond break even now because we sold the sub license, but it's on accrued basis, right? So we collect only 10%. The rest is made in payments. So
Mhm.
that creates an illusion, right? It's not, we're profitable on paper, but we don't have the money on hand. So you want to make sure. And then the next stage is profitability, where the business is making more than it spends. Essentially, that's what it means to be profitable. At that stage, we try to warn our clients to be careful of the profit trap, where they are
Mhm.
stuck in the business making money, and if they come out of the business start losing money. That means there's trap.
Yeah.
So we want to get them to a place we call sustainability, where they have systems and people in the right positions to run the business, where they have freedom, where they can go do whatever they want to do because the business is being well managed, well run. That's the goal. That's what we call the ideal stage. If they can get there, then we say, hey, do you want to scale? Not all businesses want to scale or can scale, right? Or have the grace to scale. And so that's one option. If they don't want to scale, can't scale, you manage that to succession, where and there's many businesses that we've helped on the succession stage, and we have clients now that we're helping on the succession stage. So those are the 7 stages, and those stages are important for anyone who's considering business.
Yeah, and the succession part is amazing. If you get to that stage, and every single one of those stages has its different challenges. And for a consumer that is watching this, it's like when you deal with a company that don't have the experience,
Hmm.
they're just trying to meet try to pay the bills. Unfortunately, a lot of entrepreneurs will overpromise and underdeliver,
Hmm.
and
That's
that's
right.
really sad when that happens because they mean well, but they're not honest with you, telling you,
Hmm.
something. I may not know what I'm doing here. I don't have it all figured out, but I will try to help you and service you the best that I can. But I just want to make sure. I think that was one of my main keys to success, Patrice, that I've been always honest with my customers from the get-go. It's like, hey, if this is new unknown waters, I tell the consumer, it's like, hey, if you're willing to take the gamble with me, I'll do the best that I can to service you, but I don't have it all figured out. And man, that was over 18 years ago, so that was pretty
Wow.
cool. And seeing how we have evolved and keep growing the business, and seeing how our even my front staff person, Al, that works with us, he's our customer service. He's been my customer for probably over 16 years. And
Wow.
the reason why he's there, he's the face of the company, is because who better person to tell the story of who
Mm.
we are, what we stand for, and what we believe. And it's having those values, having that clear vision, so the consumer understands
Hmm.
what we offer. and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and and as a consumer, I encourage you always to interview a professional, find out why they're servicing you, why they open the business, because at the end of the day, you're going to get a product or a service through them that if it jeopardize your safety, your financial well-being, you definitely want to be informed. And unfortunately, in this industry, there's a lot happening. So
Mhm.
Patrice, tell me a little bit about what is happening in the business world now of lack of transparency and lack of integrity that we're living in this.
Well, this is obviously certain industries are more prone to it than others, right? Mechanics, hospitals, in the healthcare industry, unfortunately, legal, right, and even my industry, coaching and consulting. Because in my industry, the way we get paid is time and value creation, right? And so the problem is obviously time is a commodity,
Yes,
right? And one needs to be paid for his time. Where I have the issue is when people in my industry have people pay premium for value that did not create,
I know that's
right?
horrible.
So I don't mind paying for your time, but now when I'm paying a premium for value you didn't create, right? As a matter of fact, I'm worse off, and I'm paying a premium. So I think each of those we have to make sure our business models is consistent with something that honors people. You talked about serve with love earlier in Burgerville. That's what serve with love is all about. It's all about saying, hey, you got to go the extra mile. How can you make your clients feel that you're giving them more than they deserve and more than they're paid?
Yeah, under promise or over delivery.
That's
That's
right.
what I've been always growing my business. I love to undersell myself, but when they see the value of what we stand for, is definitely the cherry on top. And that's why we are creating this community. Um, we want, after all these years of seeing how our customers, we've been able to empower them and help them to seek what was righteously owed to them. It's life changing. So,
Wow.
Patrice, I know we're probably about to. We got probably how many more minutes we got before we can
I think
close?
we're at 8 minutes,
8
according
minutes.
to you.
So,
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about why a business that operates on the low value proposition is destined to just be offering mediocre work? You get what you pay for. And a lot of business owners and unfortunately consumers are focusing on price
Mhm.
instead of value. Can
Mhm.
you, if you want to give a good advice to a consumer to focus on value, not on price, especially when it comes in legacy in my industry, safety and financial well-being are a big impact. But Allyz podcast community is for anything that involves your financial well-being, your safety, your health. So, what would you share with the consumers that are watching this podcast?
No, well said. So when making pay, well, when you're making any decision on buying anything, you want to. It's okay to make sure you're getting your money's worth. The problem becomes when you don't understand the value of what you need and therefore focus on price, which often directs you away from the value of what you need,
Hmm.
right? The way to overcome that is education. Now you must choose how. So obviously you can go to Google and YouTube so you can learn the outcome, the value, the best practice, so that you have a way when you go to a Juan to be able to cross-reference what he's saying. The other thing is you can have a coach, a mentor, or consult somebody who been there, done that, who's kind of giving you guidance to those best practices, so that way when you're trying to about to go take your car to a shop, you have somebody who you've talked to who've also have taken their car to the shop, who by the way may have been the one to refer you to this particular shop because they know how you are, what you like, and or what you don't like,
Yeah.
right? So you got your own education, you got getting a coach or mentor. The other piece also is when you're interacting with in this case, a body shop, it could be any other industry, and you're having a hard time quantifying if indeed what they give you is right. Um, my suggestion, be willing to make the time to go through their onboarding process,
Yes.
because at the end of the day, particularly they're value oriented, they have an educational system that lines up with the experience
Yes.
and the expectation from you.
And it's all about setting the right expectations.
That's right.
And
Yeah. So go for it. Take advantage of it, because they designed it to make sure that you guys are on the same page. And through that process, you might realize that, oh, this is over the top for me. And you can withdraw, but at least you're being empowered, you're being educated.
yeah, not there's a reason why there's fast food joints and there's good restaurants and they're high-end restaurants. It's a different level of experience, a different level of service. So that you need to have the right expectations. But like us personal Allyz Auto, we're not for everybody. We're for the consumer who wants their car repaired correctly. They wanted us to follow the OEM guidelines and make sure that car is correct, just like the manufacturer expected to fix it, and have that peace of mind. Unfortunately, when people get into an accident or catastrophe like a hailstorm, this doesn't happen often. So the consumer will put their trust in the person that doesn't have the best interest. And unfortunately, that's calling their insurance company. And unfortunately, that doesn't work out all the time because they don't have the vested interest. And that's something that we're going to go over on other podcasts on how it works. So, Patrice, I want to definitely thank you for being part of this podcast. It's our first one. It's not going to be perfect. We don't have it all figured out, but I hope you see our heart here. We're trying to educate the consumer and give a little bit of that experience that we had throughout the years of helping others. So, Patrice, any closing words that you have for our community?
Well, I want to say congratulations. I want to invite those who are watching and listening to join the movement, and let's together transform the world.
Yeah. Please like our Facebook, our YouTube, subscribe. We're going to have many other experts coming to share their stories, and everything, all the content is going to be pro-consumer. We want to help you be empowered to make informed decisions, so your family and your financial well-being and your safety is better. So our closing words are going to be, please join our movement. This is what we need from you. Share it with others, and please like us, subscribe, and get the notifications of our content. And it's going to get better as time passes. So I just want to congratulate you for finishing watching this whole video, and hopefully it was entertaining and informational to you. And the best thing you can bless us, subscribe and like it, and keep watching the content we're going to be providing through in the future. This is Juan Rodriguez, wishing everybody a blessed day, and join us in our next podcast next week. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.